weekend share from their perspective a takeaway that they got while they were at that event, to be able to share with all of you and help all of you see, believe, and catch a bigger vision than the one that you have right now with Arbonne. So whoever wants to open this up and share from your heart what it is that you got out of this past weekend, I'm going to turn it over to you guys. And please move quickly, because I know we have a lot of you on here that were there, and I'd love to hear from every one of you.
I'll share
Carlita.
first.
Yep, go for it, Kaylee. You
Okay,
do it.
sorry. Okay. I had a ton of takeaways, but I think my one main thing was not being scared to follow up with people. I know so many times in my business, I have so many people that say that they're like, oh, I'm bothering people if I follow up. And I know so many times, like I've heard 8 to 12 follow-ups. And I just this last weekend on my way home, I was going through and doing follow-ups, and I literally probably did 40 to 50 follow-ups from like the last 2 weeks. I was falling behind on my follow-ups, not gonna lie. And it's just crazy, like how many people I've had. I booked 2 in-home group presentations. I booked, I don't even know how many take a look calls, sending out some sample packets. But I just want to encourage people, if you're ever scared to follow up with people, do not be scared and take the time to do it, because they always say the fortune is the follow up, and it is so stinking true. People forget. I mean, people are busy. It's not their priority. People check messages or half the time. My kids are notorious for checking messages on my phone. I'm implementing a new rule that they can't even touch my phone anymore because messages get checked and they get forgot about. So don't feel bad. And I really just encourage people to really start following up with people if you don't, because it makes a huge difference, and people get back to you and then they feel bad. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I meant to get back to you. Yes, of course. So, and if they say no, that's fine, but you got to make the effort to do it.
And I will tell you, the reason that you walked out of there feeling like that was so important and excited to do it is your belief was reignited at that event. I mean, it all begins with belief. So, okay, who's next? Devin?
Oh, yep. Sorry, I had to unmute again. So I can come back with like nuts and bolts for sure if we need to like fill in. But what the first thing that comes to mind is just, I think how important these events are is just to reemphasize just the culture of our business. And sorry, Sophie decided to cry as soon as she heard me talking. But I think otherwise, if I didn't go to events like this, then I would see you and I would see Shelly and these other people as like business mentors in my life. But truly, like, it's the events that make the difference to you becoming like life mentors in just all areas. And there's just not simply a way to explain it unless people invest in themselves enough to go to the event. And it really just raised the bar on everything in your life. Arbonne, of course, but I think sometimes people think they can't go to those events because they're taking away from their family, and it adds so much to who you are as any roles you hold for your family. It just makes you better all the way around. So I know I'm super thankful for that. And I'm so glad that you're a life mentor and not just a business mentor. So
thank you, honey. That touches my heart, and I'm honored and happy that I get to be that for you and so many others. It's the greatest part of this. Who else wants to share? I love you.
I can go ahead and share. I feel like the bold message. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Lauren. I know the voice because I sat next to you at the table. I loved that. But I felt like a huge, huge, huge bold message. And y'all, forgive me for having to say this, probably going on 1.5 years, but it's really sinking in. You cannot have enough personal growth and development in your life. And I just feel like even like I may be belaboring that point because we feel like we've heard it, but it's kind of one of those things where you have to hear it enough for it to really sink in. And that was so repetitive this weekend from every single leader multiple times. Like you just can't grow a business any bigger than yourself. And if you're not personally developing, you're not growing. Your business is literally never going to go anywhere. And you're just going to be spinning your wheels. And I love another thing that I just saw on Cecilia's, because Cecilia really was like, gosh, she just hit every single thing I was putting like triple stars by. But you cannot try. You either are or you aren't. And that's kind of hard to hear. But even like I've had seasons in my business where I'm not. And this is a non-negotiable for me and my family. So if you're trying and you feel like something's not working, you need to get with your upline, because you're either doing this business or you're not. It's that simple. There's really no in between, because there's no way you can even make Arbonne work in between if you're not just 100 committed or out kind of thing. And so the personal growth and development was key. And then I just took away all the little things, and I don't have them. I should go back and highlight, but just like I've been saying on these calls lately, like getting in the power hour no matter what. My bed currently is not made, and it's no judgment that I didn't get up and make it. I need to change my sheets. It bothers me, but I have chosen to do Arbonne things over pulling my sheets out and exhausting myself to make my bed and little things like that. So just making sure you work your Arbonne business every day. I forget who said that. Someone said that. Every day, work it, get it in, do it because you want to, because it's a passion, because you can. But really the personal growth and development with the action. Mm-hmm. Melissa Mercer, I think, said, if you read something and it challenges you, put the book down and act. Versus like, oh, that was a really great point, and then doing nothing about it. I loved it. If you read something that you're like, ooh, put the book down and go do something about that challenge that you just felt like, gosh, that kind of challenged me, that spoke to me, that convicted me. And that way you're not just reading. You have some action to go along with it. So that's it.
Thank you. Lauren, you can go ahead and share next.
Okay, so my big takeaway of the whole thing, and a lot of people said this there, is that you can't make your team work. Like I was focused so much on helping every single person on my team work when they didn't even want to, or they weren't trying. You know what I mean? Cecilia said, like, I think someone said, sign as many people as you can up and work with the people that want to work. Mm-hmm. So I was taking all my energy and like doing it with everyone, but you really should take 90% of your energy and put it towards those people that want to work their Arbonne business, and use 10% of your energy for those other people that really don't know if they want it or not. And that's a big takeaway that I took away from it, because I was so focused on every single person, and I didn't realize, like, I might sign 10 people up and 2 people are going to work hard. You know what I mean? So, and working hard in this business is like an hour or 2 a day. So if you can't just work a little bit every single day, like, I guess that's my little takeaway. I don't know really how to explain it very well, but I hope that helps you guys, because I was exhausted mentally trying to help all these people that weren't putting in the effort that I was putting into them. Mm-hmm. So that's what I took away from it.
I love that, Lauren. That is a key lesson to learn, because we all have these hearts for people that we are inviting and starting in our businesses, and we see and believe in them so much and so big that we know it can happen, and we just work so hard because of what our vision is. But unless they're in it with you, you can't work hard enough for both of you. They have to want it, and it's easier for somebody to pull you down than it is for you to pull somebody up. And so you have to be careful and have boundaries in your life, in Arbonne and out of Arbonne. But that is a key point right there for sure. So thank you so much for sharing. And I'm glad you got it, because this business will be a whole lot more fun and less exhausting for you. And you'll believe you can, because when you're doing all of that, you get so tired. You're like, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do this. And it's because you're trying to do it for everyone instead of leading yourself and others following you, because they can and get successful because you're doing what you need to. And if they did what you were doing, they would get successful too. So that's awesome. Proud of you. And it was so good to have you there.
Mine kind of piggybacks off of that, because I forget who said it, but they said start each month like you have no team. Mm-hmm. Because I think sometimes what we do is just get so hyper-focused on our team and what they're doing and trying to piddle in everyone's business. But if we work our business like a brand new consultant and we work like we have no team, then we'll reach our goals. I mean, of course you want to help your team and reach out to them and see if there's anything you can do, but it's so important. And I told Lindsay this month, you know, for those of you that don't know, I have July off every year. And I'm like, I've literally taken July off in like every aspect of my life. And I said, I feel like crap, you know? And so I just think that's something that I needed to hear. Work as if you have no team, because at first, I mean, that's how I was working every month. I mean, I was hitting numbers like I had no team. And so I'm going to start doing that again. That way I don't have to worry about what everyone else is doing. I mean, of course you do, but I can focus on what I'm doing.
Yes. And I love that one too. And I think it was Jill Lyons who said that, who was teaching us how to work the comp plan and how to maximize it. And I think Lindsay shared last week on this call the paychecks that Jill Lyons had in her first year was like 90 some odd dollars. Her second, May was like $8,700, and her third was over $40,000. And it was because every month she worked like she had no team, even though she helped her team that was working. She acts like she's a team of one. And you guys, I will tell you, that was a big thing that I did whenever I was in the early stages of my business, and honestly still kind of am. I mean, I still talk to people and invite people into this business every day like I have no one else but me, and I'm building a brand new team every day. So that's how we always need to be, not just because it's going to provide stability for your business, but also because there's that many people out there that are waiting to hear from you. And if you ever stop acting like you've got enough, we miss out on giving people this opportunity that need it desperately. So I love that. And go ahead.
Leading yourself, absolutely. The last two people that spoke, thank you guys. One of the things that Cecilia talked about, especially, you can't take responsibility for people doing this business, and you can't take responsibility for when they're not doing it. And so if you find yourself disappointed, especially in people quitting or people not working on your team, think about the fact that Cecilia, in her, how many years has she done Arbonne? 28 years?
Yeah,
29 years. She has literally sponsored personally herself thousands of people, and she's only had 4 become national vice presidents. Mm-hmm. So we absolutely have to keep sponsoring, keep casting that vision for the people that are, signing up and doing this with us. We have to keep working. We have to keep following up. We have to lead ourselves. There was a lot about kind of truth serum and evaluating, and that's something I've been working on for a long time, is just like what's working and what's not working. How would you grade yourself with regard to how's your belief, how's your commitment, how's your self-talk, and how's your activity? And a huge takeaway that I loved was the document that Tammy Clinton came up with. And one of the things in that document that I do, but I've really been working on tracking, a system for tracking that works for me, and that I'm holding myself accountable to doing that tracking a couple times a week, if not once a week, so that I can stay on top of it. But she, in her little document, talked about 9 bubbling prospects. And it's perfect because you think about, people right now who, if you're brand new getting started, we want you to have your dream team, your 5 to 10 people, whereas as you're building this business, you're meeting people all the time that are like, oh my God, that person would be amazing at this business. And you talk to them and maybe it's not the right time. Well, how often are you going back to them? Because you want to help them bubble to the surface. And then in that same document, how is your sponsoring, and really going back and evaluating, because I definitely, with regard to who's sticking and who's, actually moving forward with receiving the help that we're there to offer, I want to know, who did I sponsor? And did I sponsor at least 5 personally myself every single month? Mm-hmm. And so really using that as a system to grade yourself. How are you doing? I mean, for me, I just think being in, 2 things. Being in Oklahoma, Carlita, I almost did not go. I told everybody, I'm not going. I already had a vacation in July. I'm working this business. I can't be gone for 2 vacations in 1 month, especially when we're in qualification for region. Like, I can't do everything, and being out of town won't work. You guys, being at these retreats is huge. Work your booty off to qualify to go to these retreats and go and get what you need, because my cup is overflowing. I mean, I've been working diligently at this business, and I've been getting better and better and better as an independent consultant and a leader. But when I went there, not only did I get my own cup filled up, overflowing, but I am so focused right now on what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and like that mission is so crystal clear. I know who I am, I know whose I am, and I know the culture of our team and our company. Because I don't know if this resonates for you guys, but when I talk to somebody and they're like, oh, my mom's friend's daughter sells Arbonne, I kind of go like yuck, I want to be the only one doing Arbonne. I want to be special, you know. And the truth is, there's tons of people doing Arbonne out there, and I guess part of that, like, ooh, you know, I wish not everybody was doing Arbonne. It's because I know a lot of people out there maybe aren't doing Arbonne as good as we're doing it. And so going back there, especially for a legacy retreat where we get to know our leaders and sit at their feet and hug them and love on them, and we have access to really from the top down the culture of our team, the leadership, the love. I know who I am, and I know why I'm doing this. And even if I meet somebody, it's like I want to bring everybody into this circle of love that we are, and they can come or they cannot come, whether they're a sideline team, even outside of the Nelson Nation, or, you know, within, or looking at this business for the first time. I mean, we're part of something so rich, and it feels so good to just know that all over again. So it was amazing. I will say one other thing, and Carlita, I hope that you will share this, but there was a new MVP that shared to us regional vice presidents, and I got to be there because I'm in call, but she had been stuck in her business for 13 and a half years. And she shared kind of her numbers and her frustrations, but the most significant, you know, thing that she shared was her thought process during the first 4 months of her business, when she was on fire promoting, because she promoted really quick, but then she got stuck. She shared her belief system and her thoughts. And then she shared, she titled it, How to Promote to RVP in 4 months. And she listed like this mindset and belief system. And then she had another list, and it was how to stay stuck for 13 and a half years. And it's so amazing because the things are, you know, seeing what's impossible, believing that you can't do it. I sponsor people, but I don't sponsor aces. I can't get people to work. I focus on what's not working. I've got negative self-talk. I've only sponsored, you know, 3 people in the last 6 years. I mean, just that head trash that we're all susceptible to. And kind of where I'm at right now, and this is on my own work aside from Oklahoma, but I have a little journal I bought, and it's like, the title of it is something along the line of, gosh darn it, I'll be grateful, okay? You know? Because the reality is our default is to fall into that trap of the negative. And we've got to work diligently if we really are going to make this real for ourselves. And it absolutely can be for every one of us. It's a super simple business. It's a smart business, and we're led by the best. But if we allow our default emotions to take over, we're doomed.
Yeah. Tracy, I want to just say, you guys, I love that. I love everything everyone's sharing. And what I want to say is kudos to Tracy, because she was coachable. I mean, she was telling me, she actually didn't tell me, and I heard, you know, just through her conversation about what she was planning on doing, instead of, and I was like, well, you know, you can do this if you come to the retreat. She's like, oh, I'm not coming, because she had been, you know, already had a vacation and everything. And so we had a conversation, and I was like, I would rather you give up what you're planning on doing and do what I have planned for you to do to grow you and your leadership, so that you can continue to grow and be there for your team. And she, you know, you guys, I know her heart didn't really want to do it, but she trusted me, and she did it anyway. And it was so fun this past weekend, just hearing her and seeing her face lit up like a Christmas tree and saying, I'm so glad I came, you know, and knowing that she knew she made the right decision. for herself and her team, you guys. But what she was wanting to do was help, and not that her team isn't worthy. I mean, they're in qualification for region. All of you are, but you have to grow yourself in order to be able to grow a team and help them grow. And she did herself and her team a bigger favor by not catering to what she was trying to talk her team into and doing what she knew she needed to do. And the results absolutely will be huge because she did. So you guys, being coachable, listening to your leaders. I mean, I've done it. I still do it. I mean, it's what we all have to do. There's somebody in this business, and that's what I said about coming to Oklahoma, is that there's somebody in this business in Oklahoma. You never get to be prideful here. There's always somebody in Oklahoma better than you. And you never get to think you know it all, you got it all, you understand it all, you just got to keep doing it more, because there's always somebody here that's better than you. And what happens when we're out there and we're not connecting to the leadership that you have right here, or the leadership that you have in our legacy of leadership that we are connected to in our Arbonne family, is that you become the lid for your team. John Maxwell talks about the leadership lid. And that's what happens. And sometimes we get so frustrated that our team isn't growing. And so many times, you guys, it's because of us. It's because we are the lid for our team. And when you will come and commit to these leadership events, you will grow you will raise that lid, and you will raise up success in leaders in your organization. So I could not be more excited and proud of Tracy Moore for overcoming her initial plan, being coachable, and then being grateful and excited about what it is that she got to have as takeaways to go back and give to her team that she loves so much. So who else?
I'll share. I'm going to go to my notepad really quick though, you guys. So I had lots of big takeaways, but one of mine was, let's see here. Oh, if you want to know why you are not where you want to be, make a list of all your excuses. That's powerful. If you want to know why you are not where you want to be, make a list of all your excuses. Oh, you know what? This is something else. And I think we know this, but sometimes, well, I mean, I've kind of slacked on this one, but whether you're signing someone up as a consultant or you're signing them up as a preferred client, ask them, hey, do this with a friend. You know, it's so much better to do it with a friend and have an accountability partner with you. Consistency is the best friend of success. There is never enough good days to work. You have to work on bad days too. You guys, that's so true. So true. And I don't know, Carlita, I think that's it. You guys, if you think I look pretty rough and dirty, I am. I've been camping for the last 4 days. I'm in a tent as we speak. I mean, don't you love it? We can have an office anywhere.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Love it. So thank you for sharing, Crystal, on your camping trip. Anyone else?
I'll go.
Okay.
So my biggest takeaway was obviously personal growth and development. So just even though, you know, I think that I'm not a reader, it's just focusing on growing myself for me and my team. And then knowing that people are going to fall off. So just keep finding people and like don't focus. Let me see what I wrote down. Sorry, I want to say it correctly. People fall off, so just keep finding people and don't depend on anyone. Because I have a bad habit of like focusing on one person, and I get upset if they're not doing anything or, you know, whatever. But and then it affects my, you know, myself and my business and stuff like that. So that was my biggest takeaway. And so I started reading I'd be on the book club calls, but I wouldn't be reading the books. And so I just started reading a new book
The Power of a Positive Mindset, or whatever the book, whatever the name of the book.
Positive leadership, I think. Oh,
Leadership, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. The Power of Positive Leadership, yes.
Mhm.
So, and that's been really good. But then also, like, in the car going to work, and like I would be listening to music or whatever, and that obviously isn't helping me, grow myself. So I've been listening to like podcasts or like audiobooks, and so that's really just helped just keep a positive mindset, but also just learning and growing in all aspects of life.
Okay.
Hi, Debbie.
Alexa, Carlita, I have to say something to her because, girlfriend, that is, you've got my eyes watering. That is a ginormous shift for your business. Like, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Turning that music off, and yes, that's awesome. So proud of you. And keep reading, because you will eventually love reading. Like, it will be second nature. You will love it.
Yes.
I used to be a non-reader. I promise you, you will love it.
Totally. Alexa, I just want to ask you one more question, honey. When you say you've started doing that, have you enjoyed it? Like, what do you feel whenever you're doing those things, so that you can help people see the why behind the how?
I actually have, and I didn't think that I would. I think at first just started reading because I was like, I felt like I had to. And so I tried to like start changing my mindset from I had to or I have to do this, but I get to. And that was one of the other things that they had talked about, like changing your, oh, I have to go do this party or I have to do this. And it kind of like just has like a ugly feel to it. And so when you get to say like, I get to do this, like it just, I don't know, it changes your mindset and it makes you more excited about doing it. And so I don't know, just knowing that it's gonna, like, there's more of a positive aspect to it, like in the end, I don't know, it's just helped a lot. So
yeah I mean, it's one of those things, like, you think you don't want to do it, and then you listen to this and it's inspiring, and you start to believe, well, gosh, I could do that. It's simple and it's exciting, and something you fought so hard to not do, you realize, gosh, why didn't I do this sooner? Because it really is so good, and so so helpful and motivating and inspiring, because it's how we move ourselves every day. And if you say you have to, you guys, you have to read, you have to do a party, or have to do an event, you have to ask somebody else every day, you're having to. That's the employee mindset. Like, I have to go to work on Monday. I have to, be there at a certain time because they tell me to. I have to accept this hourly rate because that's what they tell me I have to do. That's employee talk in your head instead of entrepreneurial talk, and that I get to do this because I choose to. I'm choosing to do this because I want to better me. I'm choosing to do this, or I get to do this. And that's the difference. And it's really one of those things that is a big shift in how you think. Not just from the have to, but from employee versus entrepreneurial type mindset. Overall.
Carlita, if I can just jump into that, I in the beginning of my business, I definitely didn't do personal development, or I thought that I was doing it. I thought that by plugging into Wednesday night, or whatever night it was, 9 years ago, that I was doing it. And I honestly thought that like personal development was just something that undisciplined people needed to do. And that sounds so harsh coming out of my mouth, but that's how I felt about it. That I'm a hard worker and I don't need like to be motivated to do my job. And the truth is, it's so much more than that. It just affects everything that you do. It affects your belief and the sound that the vibe that you have. And now when you were talking, I was just thinking like it's the equivalent of working out for your body. Like once you're into fitness or trying to get back into fitness and seeing some results, if you haven't worked out in a few days, you crave it and you're missing it. And personal development for me is the exact same way. If I've gotten out of the rhythm and I've missed it for 2 or 3 days, I'm craving it. And it's, I'm so proud of myself when I've done it. But another thing that I always tell my team, because I did have trouble with it in the beginning, is there's so many good podcasts and books out there that if whatever you're reading or listening to, you're not connecting with, ditch it and move on. It doesn't mean it's not valuable. That doesn't mean you won't be able to come back to it. But if there's so many things that you will connect with. So if you're struggling, pick up another book. There's hundreds. We'll find a different podcast until it becomes, honestly, Dare to Dream, Work to Win was hard that was a hard first book for me to read. I love it now, but it was hard. Like I had trouble getting through it the first time. Start with John Gordon, like start with some of those easier ones and then come back to more of the hardy stuff if you need to.
I want to add to that.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry. The new book that we're starting this Saturday is honestly a really good book to like gradually get into it if you're not a big reader, because honestly the chapters are short, and that was like a big thing for me. If there was like a long chapter, it would kind of like overwhelm me or like panic me, and so these are super short, super easy to read. So honestly, it's like a really great book to start out with and just kind of ease yourself into it.
And the other thing too, like they were saying, like listen to audibles. If you can't make yourself read, listen to audibles. And I will tell you guys, the best way to do that is to get the book. Don't just default to the audible. Get the book and sit with the book and let it read to you, because it is teaching you the process that you will eventually love and get and want to do more of. So I would encourage both Audible and the book for you, so that you can start developing that muscle that you're going to need for life to be able to do it. So, but listen to audibles if you can't make yourself read, but don't tell yourself you can't, because I'm going to send you guys a podcast that somebody shared with me right before this retreat, and it talks about it. And I shared a little bit, I think at the retreat, where the guy says that he was telling somebody, a mentor, that he was not a reader. And the mentor stopped him immediately. And he said, don't ever let it be said of you that you are not a reader. Don't ever let somebody say, oh, Alexa Nelson, she's not a reader. Krista Tavares, she's not a reader. Devin Holman, she's not a reader. You never want your name to be said in the sentence where you're not a reader, because every successful person are readers. Leaders are readers. Everyone. And when you say, I'm not a reader, you're telling the world, I'm not going to be successful, or I am not successful, because every successful person is a reader. So don't let that be said of you, because you're claiming you're not going to be. So I thought that was powerful, but I'm going to send you guys this podcast. It's about 20 minutes, and he talks about how he developed a love and a discipline for reading after he said those words, I'm not a reader. So it might help you guys. Anyone else want to share?
The only other thing I want to say is I don't remember who, there was so much good, but someone said, do not come back here next year at the same place you're at today. And that is a gut punch, really. And so I hope I get to bring my whole team next year, and they're all areas that maybe next year we'll all be Regener Nation.
That's right. I would say no, maybe just do it, because you can. Anyone else?
Hey, Carlita.
Yes.
I just want to plug Impact.
Yes, for sure. If you're not registered, you guys get registered. We have a couple of great events in Oklahoma. We have the Lifer Retreat coming up. That's going to be incredible. And we have Impact Training. Both of those are events that you can go to, and you can invite other people to come with you to catch the vision and the culture and the community of people that we have here and what we have to offer them. So for sure.
Well, and I also think about, because, as we're working on finishing Region and, continuing to promote people out, like, this is the time. I mean, I was just thinking about that, like, right now, if you've kind of dismissed the fact that you could promote to district manager this month with 3,500, that's ludicrous. Jump back in and own it, because that's you and 10 people doing the 30-day program with us August 5th. like seize it. And then what that's going to do is it's going to set you up for August in preparation for September, which is when Impact is. That's when they launch all the holiday products. I mean, now is not the time to dismiss your business and start to make excuses for why you're not where you feel like you should be number wise today on whatever date it is. Like now is the time to just really open your eyes to what is real and possible and go all in.
And I want to say to you guys, gosh, what was I going to say? Now, oh, this month, go district. Like you guys, for $3,500 district, and you want to do that this month because it's going to set you up for something amazing next month. So make sure you are listening and taking advice, that you find a way to get it there, because you can. We have plenty of month left this month for everyone to still complete district manager qualification. And if you have anybody working with you in your team, they're finishing district, you can be in qualification for area manager this month. But make sure you hit district this month so you can set yourself up to take advantage of the surprise that's coming next month. And I want to just say, you guys, that I have put this on the website. It's underneath goal planning, and it's that packet that people have been referring to. And it's just called Numbers Do Not Lie goal planning sheet. And it is on the website now under goal planning on all documents, and underneath the goal setting documents in our tab over underneath goal setting. So if you guys want to do an evaluation of your business and start finding your 9 bubbling prospects that are going to help you increase your sponsoring, that's where it's at and what you can do. And you'll notice, you guys, where it says like how many promotions did you have, how many people did you sponsor, there's only like this little box, and it comes from an old training that we used to get from a expert in the network marketing industry. And he talked about prospecting. He had the best prospecting toolbox out there. And he said, whenever he talked to his team and he asked them, well, how many people did you sponsor into your business this month? He said people would start out with, well, I've had 2 vacations this month, or, well, I had to work extra, or, well, and he said everybody started out telling a story. And he said, you see this little box? You see this little tiny box? There's only enough room for a number. What's your number? Numbers don't lie. There is no room for excuses in success, you guys. And that's how successful people get successful, is they learn how to manage their life and still get the number as a result. And so don't let yourself tell yourself excuses. Just know that there's only enough room in my box for a number. What's my number? And 0 is not a good number. And he even went as far to say, if 0 is your number, whatever you have said you're doing this business for, basically what you're telling those whys, which are usually people, and the people you love more than anyone else in your life, you're telling those whys they just aren't that important, that they just don't matter that much. And that one, talk about gut punch, you guys. He goes, I have to assume you just don't care that much. And I mean, I hope that makes you a little bit mad that somebody's sitting here telling you whatever you said you were doing this business for, or whoever you were doing it for, that you're somebody sitting here telling you must not care that much about them, because you do. But don't let it just be talk. Go let it be your walk, and get some numbers in those boxes, because you do care so much, and you show the world how much you care and how much you can help them care if they want to follow you too. So that's there. It's on the website. It takes a little time to do the evaluation, but it'll be a good place for you guys to start working on making your list of who you're going to go invite to take a look at this business and start doing this with you. So I'll get off of here. We can hop on the live Discover, and I'll be back with you guys later on tonight with some more training. Love you all. Thank you guys for sharing so much. I'm glad we got to share it with everybody who couldn't be there with us.